Hello everyone. Today I'll be presenting my work on design-led innovation. My name is Andrew Walls. I'm a design researcher with the Ontario Municipal Pension Plan OMERS and a graduate of OCAD University's Strategic Foresight and Innovation MDes program. Today I'm going to be sharing research on how enterprises, such as IBM or OMERS, should be designing and implementing their innovation systems. Specifically, I'll be walking you through how I developed a framework I call the Innovation Systems Design Cycle, or ISDC, which I believe can help leaders in research, design, and innovation across entities of all types to build more effective innovation systems. For enterprises, this work is crucial. Modern innovation efforts fail 96% of the time, and 7 out of 10 products fail in their first 18 to 24 months on the market. Addressing this gap between limited theoretical models for innovation systems design and the pervasive failure of modern innovation efforts could help enterprises to reliably create new or improved sources of stakeholder value, and allow us to compare innovation systems across different enterprises through benchmarking and framing best practices. Further, it could allow an enterprise to quantify the value creation potential of an innovation system before and during its construction, so leaders can make more informed financial decisions about innovation. This work draws on thinking in ecology, systems thinking, strategy, entrepreneurship, and innovation. I'd also like to thank the hundreds of researchers whose work I've drawn on, and the 11 innovation leaders and practitioners who generously gave their time to this research, along with my colleagues at OMERS who helped me to test the ISDC framework and an $109 billion pension plan. My talk today will be broken into 3 parts: laying the ISDC's foundation, successively building the ISDC through several new models, and then explaining the ISDC itself, along with implications and next steps. And if you get one thing from today, I'd like it to be an excitement about the role of the designer in creating the structures and systems that underlie the creation of value for people all over the world. So, to begin, through reviewing the work of many researchers on the components of innovation systems and tagging, grouping, and synthesizing 250 different innovation frameworks or models, I found there were 5 key areas relevant to innovation systems design in the order of ecosystem, strategy, architecture, people, and infrastructure. Through systems mapping, I determined that each component is embedded within the previous one. For instance, an enterprise's innovation architecture is shaped by the ecosystem and strategy within which the architecture is structured, and shapes which people and infrastructure are most effective within that architecture. I'm going to explain each of these areas in order, as they form the foundation for how to make sense of and ultimately design an innovation system. First, the innovation ecosystem. An innovation ecosystem is the interconnected web of actors, relationships, drivers, regulations, capital, education systems, and the talent base that exist outside of an innovation system. Think of it as the surrounding context that innovation systems exist within. Ecosystems are crucial as they shape what innovation system is best fit. Ecosystems are where ideas, insights, and partnerships originate from. And ecosystems evolve and change over time. The forces shaping that change are typically called drivers, and the direction of that change, trends. Second, strategy. Think of a strategy as the current position, desired destination, and intended route of the innovation system. In essence, how the innovation system will navigate the ecosystem. There are many ways of articulating pieces of strategies: visions, focus areas, roadmaps, barriers, and risks. And some believe in emergent strategy, where you attune yourself to ecosystem signals and sort of wayfind alongside them. Often strategies are determined by the priorities of the leaders of an innovation system. However, the strategy is bigger than that. For example, if artificial intelligence is a driver in an ecosystem, and leaders don't prioritize responding to it, they'll fall behind the ecosystem and become less innovative. It's my belief that if innovation systems become influential enough in an ecosystem, they can become a driver of change in and of themselves, such as Automatic's WordPress and the web development ecosystem. But that's seemingly very rare. Third, architecture. It's the conceptual blueprint or structures of an innovation system. The processes such as stage gate or discovery-driven planning, how different ideas are prioritized and managed, such as 3 horizons or the ambition matrix, how the risks of innovation are hedged, such as with the balanced breakthroughs model, any metrics or indicators, the structures and systems built to realize the strategy. Fourth, people. People work within architecture. They work within and shape these structures and systems. People includes leadership styles, working practices, cultural norms, hiring practices, incentives, members, all shaped by the structural architecture the people are embedded in. And finally, infrastructure. Infrastructure is the supporting tools, resources, and spaces that support people's work. It's the cell phones, meeting rooms, printers, innovation and digital tools of an innovation system. The right infrastructure is determined by the people using it. For instance, the business model canvas may not work for everyone as a tool to conceptualize a business model, or a working space may be too open, airy, or closed and dark for different people. Think of these 5 components as the ecosystem boundaries relevant to an innovation system, a sort of map for understanding all the different disparate pieces. However, I want this framework to permit designers to take action to design a better world, which is why I designed the innovation cascade. Notice, each column flows sequentially into the next. First, we understand the ecosystem the innovation system will be embedded within. Then we design a strategy best suited to navigate that ecosystem. Then we design the structural scaffolding that can realize that strategy. Then we fill that scaffolding with people. And finally, we support those people with infrastructure. Naturally, design in the real world is messy. Nothing is this neat or linear. Innovation is also emergent. We can't predict perfectly what the most fit strategy is, nor will we ever be able to. However, this is still a process designers can follow to design an innovation system. I call this process search, map, shape, make, and drive. Typically, designers will iterate between searching and mapping until a strategy emerges that brings them to their desired ecosystem objective, such as growing to a certain size or realizing a certain vision for the future. Then, innovators iterate among architecture, people, and infrastructure to build the internal conditions in which that strategy can be executed. This 5-step process forms a figure 8, where designers cycle between external and internal design work, constantly iterating on both as new information emerges. Drawing on this process, I conducted a case study with OMERS for 2 use cases. The first was to understand and enhance an existing innovation system. I used foresight, systems mapping, strategy, internal interviews, and observation to map the OMERS innovation system, and distilled 10 recommendations for how to improve it. The second use case was to generate a new component of an innovation system, which in this case was a research function at the front end of the innovation function. I found having a structured approach, even if it wasn't perfect, helped make the messy, complex work of designing an innovation system much more tangible. It helped take all the different pieces involved, like foresight, strategy, systems thinking, business process design, and human factors, and fit them together. Through this primary case work and secondary work with innovation systems from Whirlpool, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, Lego, and GE, I identified predictable forms that innovation systems take, which I call modes. The first mode is informal, which is when innovation systems aren't defined or documented. Some lone individuals may be creating new value, but it's haphazard and disorganized. Next, as systems become more formalized, they take the linear mode. These are often disciplined, centralized labs or business units. They usually follow a distinct linear process, such as explore, build, scale, to create narrow and scope changes, such as process improvements. Next is distributed, where these linear systems begin working with folks from across the enterprise to create change. Often bigger changes become possible, and the innovators take on more coaching or advisory roles in guiding non-practitioners through realizing new value. However, this is still mostly limited to within the enterprise. Embedded innovation systems expand beyond the enterprise and begin welcoming external collaborators. Think LEGO Ideas, which allows hundreds of thousands worldwide to design, vote, and profit from designing a new LEGO product. Or Innocentive, a platform for enterprises to draw on global innovators to help solve problems. However, the control in these systems is still centralized to the enterprise, with the enterprise having a sort of sluice gate to control the flow of innovation inputs, like ideas or insights from the ecosystem. The final mode is emergent, which is where the innovation system rids itself of those controls and becomes truly led by and leaders in the ecosystem. I believe Wikipedia is one such example, where the community self-moderates and writes content with the Enterprise Wikimedia Foundation acting as a sort of steward. While the research suggests that most innovation systems are in the informal or linear modes, and the systems that create the most change or are the embedded and emergent ones, this is not a hierarchy. Different systems exhibit the modes in different areas. For instance, a system may have hundreds of external partners embedded, but only ideas approved by a few leaders are ever explored, linear. Given that enterprises exhibit these modes in different ways, I suspected there might be consistent ways to raise the mode, and thus the innovativeness of an enterprise. I call these configurations, and designed 3 for each area as a proof of concept. Think of these as a menu a designer can choose from to rapidly design and iterate on an innovation system. For instance, do they want a closed, open, or highly coupled membership who contributes to the company's innovation work? Each has different likely resource costs and potential innovativeness. Configurations could bring significantly more consistency and comparability across innovation systems. permit experienced designers to rapidly enhance or design innovation systems, and help new designers to learn the best practices and range of choices available to them. In essence, turning innovation systems design into more of a formal discipline. Together, these models offer a new framework for the design of innovation systems, which I call the Innovation Systems Design Cycle. The ISDC mirrors decision action processes, such as the PDCA cycle, the OODA loop, or the Build, Measure, Learn cycle, to drive iterative, lean, informed innovation systems design. Using the innovation cascade, a designer can plan a detailed blueprint for enhancing or generating an innovation system. With the search, map, shape, make, and drive process, they can build their blueprint. With the modes, they can assess their now built system against industry benchmarks to frame iterations and quantify performance. And with the configurations, they can rapidly scope implementing those iterations. Then they can detail them in the innovation cascade, implement them with the steps, reassess, and so on, through repeated narrowing cycles of these 4 nodes, with each cycle creating a more resource-efficient, innovative system, with a greater capacity to shape its innovation ecosystem. Imagine a company wants to become more innovative and is exploring what that even means. Who do they hire? What, if anything, should they be innovating? What trends are relevant to them? What's their long-term vision? It's not just that these are challenging questions, it's that many innovators may not even know they need to ask them. I believe the ISDC solves this problem through surfacing and systemizing how to create a new innovation system. It captures the complexity of designing a value creation engine and turns it into a process, visual design tool, and a few guiding models held together by the Innovation Systems Design Cycle framework. While it's in its early stages, I've already found it helpful for having conversations about the big unknowns of innovation and encouraging folks to think more broadly about it. And more broadly, the ISDC could encourage more informed decision-making for leaders with innovation agendas, demystify enterprise innovation, and welcome non-practitioner stakeholders into innovation beyond simple ideating activities or workshops. Further, as we collectively confront global challenges such as climate change, overconsumption, and health crises, innovation is more necessary than ever, not only innovating products or services, but also innovating institutions, political ideologies, and economic systems. We must free innovation of the dogma, mystification, and esoteric theories that limit it to a select few to democratize innovation so that not-for-profits, social enterprises, startups, public service agencies, and any other organization can equally offer their stakeholders value. However, the ISDC is still in its early stages, and there are steps that must be taken to further refine it, including sourcing feedback from design practitioners of all skill and experience levels, running trials in enterprises other than OMERS, within and outside the for-profit space, employing other methodologies to verify the findings, such as the analytical hierarchy process, simplifying the visuals, language, and usage process, and experimenting to refine the framework's underlying logic. Hopefully this is where you come in. I'm excited and grateful to have shared this with you. If you have any feedback, places the ISDC can be tested, ideas, or just want to chat innovation, please get in touch. Thank you.